And I just kind of had a thought. What are your thoughts on goal setting in terms of like, let's say someone goes home after school or goes home after work and they need to get this done. So they create a nice environment, they do all that stuff. Are you better off going, okay, let's just nut this out until 6 o'clock at night and then I can watch Netflix and then I can relax or something?
Yeah.
Do you think that's productive?
Look, I do. I think if you set yourself some goals and, time frames, if you say, well, I'm going to study for an hour without stopping, uninterrupted, and then I'm going to give myself a half-hour break where I'm just going to completely switch off and not, and a break means a break. Like, it means get away from your computer, get away from your device, go for a walk around the block or go and have a chat to someone, have some, human interaction.
Yeah.
And then set yourself another target. But working to goals and targets works really well. And also knowing there's good stuff at the end. I'll study really hard for 2 hours and then I'm going to watch Netflix for the rest of the evening.
Yeah. And is that the time you recommend, an hour and a half now? Or you've mentioned 40 minutes?
Look, most people can work for around 45 minutes in flow.
Like really productively.
That's
good to know.
Yeah.
Because people will be like, everyone else probably thinks everyone else is doing 2, 3, 4 hours. But most people are only working 45 minutes productively.
Yeah. Now, some people, there'll be outliers,
yeah,
right? So some people can really only focus for, say, 20, 25 minutes. Other people could work for 2 or 3 or 4 hours without, but on average, it's around about 45 minutes. But, the best thing to do is just monitor it for yourself. So set a bit of a timer, start working, and then once you get to that point where you're starting to get distracted or a bit tired or wanting to stand up, just monitor it. And if each time it's around 40 to 50 minutes, then that's your sweet point.
And you say like 40 on and then 10 off or 20 off?
Yeah, 10, 15 off. If you've got like, final exams that you're studying for and you're wanting and you're needing to study back to back, then I would have, probably around, say, 45-minute study period and then, say, a 10, 15-minute break. Yeah. And then another 45 minutes. Then I'd have a bigger break.
Yeah.
Maybe a half hour or, a 45-minute break.
And by break, as you mentioned before, you don't mean jump in bed and scroll through your phone. You mean go for a walk, grab a sandwich, go talk to someone.
Exactly.
Do something that's kind of like resetting you.
It allows you to switch your brain off and just have a break. Have a break. You've got to think about your day and, say, studying or assignments or those sort of periods. And plus, once you join the workforce, your day is a series of short sprints. It's not a marathon.
Yeah. And that's a good way to frame it. Series of short sprints. You're saying that's the best way to frame it?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yep. So have your sprint for, say, 45 minutes and then have a break. Then have your next sprint and then have a break.
And during those sprints, we're focusing on one thing.
You're focusing on one thing. So, and it can be lots of the one thing. So that's batching, where you might say, okay, I have to say, in a work context, you might batch an hour where you're doing sales calls. So you might make 10 calls, but it's all about sales.
Yeah.
You might batch an hour or 45 minutes where you're invoicing or billing. So you might produce 30 bills, but it's all
the
bills.
same thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's the same mind.
That's right. You're not having to jump in and out of different tasks to keep the flow going. So from a study concept, you may study, say, maths for 40 minutes and it might be, different disciplines within maths, but you're doing just maths. And then, equally for, English and other subjects, what you don't want to do is spend 10 minutes on maths and jump into looking at your English quotes for 15 minutes and then jump into your assignment on, biology for 10 minutes. That's just not a good use of your time.
Often use it as an escape. Maybe they're struggling with maths. It's like, I'll go check my biology just so they can kind of get away with it. And it's like, I'm still working for the 45 minutes.
That's right.
But it's like, I've done 10 minutes of English. I've set a goal of 40 minutes. I'm going to switch to English and see what I can do here. I've hit my point of English is getting difficult. I'm going to switch to this one.
Yeah.
And suddenly you've done 3 tasks in 45 minutes and you're like, yes, I've hit my goal. But really you haven't. Because your brain has been interrupted 3-4 times.
That's it. You're multitasking.
Yeah,
you're basically trying to make your brain switch between tasks kind of too quickly.